Airlines must take steps to keep carbon emissions down when flights resume so that the lower levels recorded during the COVID-19 pandemic can be entrenched, PM Boris Johnson said. Inadvertently, the planet this year will have greatly reduced its CO2 emissions. We need to entrench those gains. In the legal world, I can say this much: courts all across Texas have set up Zoom hearings. I used to fly 3+ times a month for various hearings across the state, sometimes more. I have A-list preferred with Southwest. With Zoom being integrated so much into the legal world, I am and our firm is based in Dallas, Texas. This month I have a deposition in Colorado, 2 depositions the Midland area, 2 hearings in Houston, Texas, and a mediation in Houston. All of this is being handled via Zoom. So where I would have spent some $2,500 in airfare and that many carbon emissions as well, those costs have been eliminated and I'll be able to attend these things from the comfort of my office. Edit, thank you kind awarding stranger. I am hoping that after the pandemic, these systems will remain in place and I can avoid so much travel in the future. $10 says we, as in humanity, go extra hard and make things worse instead. Bojo is a depressing reminder that even the right-wing demagogues in other countries are further left than moderate Republicans. I think this pandemic has been a wonderful experiment in pollution and climate change. The public has drastically reduced their emissions, and yet it hasn't gone down enough to stop climate change because it was never a matter of personal responsibility to fix the environment. Aircraft engines are excluded from emission standards, and most of the pollutants are emitted into the stratosphere. Piston engine planes still burn leaded gasoline. Edit, interesting reading from the ICAO about aircraft emissions. https://www. ICAO. in/environmental protection/pages/aircraft engine emissions. ASPX. Also, can we just kill off the cruise ship industry permanently? I feel that would do good things for the environment and to reduce contagion as well. Honestly, Bojo is prick. But every single person, especially left-wing Brits, comparing him to Trump or, worse, Bolsonaro is delusional by this point. So I'm just curious, what steps are the airlines supposed to take, according to Johnson? About the only thing they can do is buy more efficient planes, which they've already done, and pack them like sardine cans. Ditto. Are they somehow supposed to discourage people from flying? That's the problem with all this climate change posturing. A lot of people like to pat themselves on the back, and say stupid things that sound good. Not a lot of people are actually willing to make personal sacrifices. If you think climate change is critically important, but you also regularly travel by airplane, you are basically a hypocrite. That includes every politician, businessman, and most other people. How about making a push to move business towards allowing employees to work from home? Major pollution reduction in NYC area the last 8 weeks and it's been wonderful. That's like me with the pounds I lose from diarrhea. Gonna keep those pounds off no matter how I lost 'em. God damn it 2020. You taken away Kobe, live concerts, and general social interaction. I'll be damned if you make me agree with Boris fucking Johnson too. Looks like Boris has fulfilled his say something sensible every once in a while quota for the foreseeable future, so back to fucking up. Except airlines have already been trying to reduce the amount of fuel they burn for decades, dropping hundreds of millions of dollars for just 2% better fuel efficiency. Aren't airlines' reduced carbon emissions correlated with demand being doing like 85%? I mean, I think airlines will see reduced demand for a while associated with COVID-19, but I assume at some point the demand will get back to where it was. Boris is saying things I agree with. Looks like Corona have entered Paris Climate Agreement. Airlines contribute only 2% of the globe's air pollution. And we are working on non-fossil fuels for planes, but it's heavily underfunded. And cars pollute a whole lot more, so bring in more electric cars. What measures can airline possibly take to keep carbon emissions down other than just not flying? I think that airlines make as much effort as they can to use as little fuel as possible while also maintaining safety. You know, this British guy's Trump comparison really is not seeming very apt lately. So he is better than Trump. I know y'all call him the British Trump, but this is a good thing, right? He's done something good. YTF would the airline be responsible? People want/need to fly, so planes are going to run. Planes combust jet fuel, what else would you expect them to do? Now if you want to discuss a change in behavior that has people flying less, then fine. But that's not up to an airline to know how that's going to happen without either A. Reducing the total number of flights. B. Increasing the cost of flying such that A happens on its own. Are we going to have any airlines once this is all finally over? I can get behind that. Solid idea. Damn, Boris must be delirious as an after effect of having COVID-19. Did I just upvote a Bojo quote? The upside of being dead is you have no more expenses. The entire reason the emissions are down is because if we continued on this trajectory we would be in full anarchy in 12 months. It's unsustainable. Fine. Make air travel expensive enough that only the rich can afford to fly and everyone else stays home. That will cut emissions quite a lot, and improve social distancing. Otherwise you're just asking for airline engines to ignore the laws of physics. I'm an English socialist who's lived here almost all her 22-year life. I despised Boris until this madness broke out. He has dealt with this better than I imagined. He is certainly better than Donald Trump, and he has even said he is putting people before the economy. I recently found out his partner is a senior advisor to an ocean conservation charity. So I imagine he knows about the importance of planet care. This crisis has taught me a few things. Don't judge somebody based on their political view, and someone's true colors can really show in a time of crisis, Winston Churchill being an example of the second one. The other thing this crisis has taught me and many others is that we really need to start taking care of our planet. One of the good outcomes of this crisis, I reckon, is that we will start taking better care of our planet for real. I was saying to my dad they may have to think of alternative ways to flying. Like Greta Thunberg travels in a solar-powered boat. Maybe inventors will look at solar-powered passenger boats. As a Brit, I'm glad Boris has said we need to look after our planet more, and with an environmental activist wife he will know. I just hope we really do keep to this promise of looking after our beautiful planet after this crisis. Like how the Second World War paved way for decolonization, social class equality and many medical breakthroughs, maybe this crisis will pave way for us making this planet a lot greener than it has been for the past 40 years. Yes, airlines must take steps, but you and your government should also be taking steps to help facilitate this, investing in green solutions and a carbon tax, for example. But of course he will tell them to do it, they won't, and then nothing will change. Shit, Boris Johnson actually seeing some good things. I did not expect this from a leader elected today. PFF, like whenever you get a bad stomach flu or food poisonings, you promise yourself that you'll keep off the few pounds you lost while being sick. And then after a few days you eat an entire cake. Bobo wants Mother Earth swole, and who can blame? https://I. Read. It/G9HB1788mm211. JPG, him. Airlines. Packs larger amounts of people into fewer planes. Oh shit, hang on. Every once and a while they do things I applaud. Just wish it was more often than not. Love it. First he lays the groundwork to start blaming people for wave 2, and now he's pushing positives. Airlines, no thanks, we will like to keep our profit as high as possible. Do his policies match this?